It's midnight and work's just beginning. Okay, so got the lazy bag down. You can see now it's folded down on the one side. So this system they've got is absolutely perfect. I can really see what they're moving towards. Cool. Got the foredeck light working. That's the working light. See that guy, pink, up there? That lights up the foredeck here, which is going to be very wholesome whilst I'm at sea. I do find when you're at the middle of the ocean, at the middle of the night, obviously you've got your nav lights on, and people say, oh, we've got to have your right nav lights on. You know what, as mariners rather than sailors, lights at sea equals what's that? Okay, so these boats often will have a flashing strobe light on the top just because it's completely different, it catches the attention. I will put, actually on this boat, the steaming light is marked as trim light, and we have it on so you can see the sails for trimming. People get very worked up about night vision and all that kind of stuff. If you're in the military and you have to be very, very careful about, you know, being seen and light pollution, or not light pollution, but being made basically by the fact that you've got lights burning. Okay, so everything has to go dark, everything has to go red. You need the ability to be able to define the horizon, particularly if you're doing like the horizon at night and star sights and things. Night vision becomes very important if you're in tight traffic lanes, and there's a lot of situations where night vision is very important. In the middle of the ocean, when you're off the shipping lanes, it's not that essential. And it's actually more essential to be lit up like a Christmas tree in case somebody who's also out in the middle of nowhere is busying around. So rather than just two little pokey little green and red lights and a white one out the back, it's better to have a lot of stuff. And when the trimming light or the steaming light is on and lighting up the jibs, that's a huge amount of light. When the foredeck light is on and this whole area is lit up, which has been a long time since I had a boat with one of those that worked, it's very good for the soul as well, because there's light in the middle of all this darkness. These new LED torches are all well and good, but the light that they produce is subtly different, and I find kind of empty, if that's the right way of putting it. Like it doesn't speak to your soul in the way that an old iridescent bulb does. So that guy up there, 35 watts, it's pretty hard on the battery. We're on charger at the moment, but it's pretty hard on the battery, but it's very good for the for recharging the soul. If you're interested, just here, can I do the thing with the fingers again? Oh, it's drifting around, getting no, oh my goodness, you're drunk. This thing here, this little thing here, this is active echo, and it's what it basically does is it detects radar signals and sets off an alarm inside. And actually recently I discovered sets off an alarm on deck as well. It's very, very useful if you're way away from land. Ships can scan up to 48 miles with their X and S band radar. This picks up X band radar, which ships will use as a weather radar, so it's on all the time, and that means realistically they're actually scanning about 24 miles, something like that, but it gives you an indicator that there's a vessel within 24 miles. So this allows us to know if we're being scanned. We have a radar that then can scan outwards. We've got our GPS, we've got our chart plotters, we've got our EPIRBs, we've got PLBs, we've got SARTs, we've got AIS, of course, we've got GMDSS, we've got so many acronyms, it's impossible to sync because we'll just walk to shore on acronyms. But I love this piece of kit because it really gives you a great idea that you know, oh, hang on, we're not alone, there's something out here, even if it's a couple of, that's like 3 horizons away. Right, so the thing I'm obviously avoiding by videoing and anything else I can think of is unrolling that huge sail, but I'm getting kind of excited now because you know, I took a lot of time jet washing all this lot down. I opened the bag up now, it's lovely and clean. Got to get my reef lines out. I've got some good diagrams, that pack of pictures which I found in the container, which gives me, you know, accurate details as to, okay, what's the height of the tack. Because the boom is at an angle, right? The boom on these is connected to the deck. If you hadn't noticed that detail, the gooseneck is not quite what you might be expecting. The boom starts under here and the mast is over here. The mast and the boom are not connected together. The idea being that if you are rolled in the Southern Ocean and you lose the rig, you can then cut away what's left of the rig. Remember, you can literally cut through this PVO with a knife. I could dismast the boat with this, you know. But the point being, yeah, so when the boom is pulled down and into tension, you're getting that upwind angle. It's creating triangles you have to be very careful with. With Spartan, when I had her, it took the longest time to realize, and if you read Sir Robin Knox Johnston's book about sailing around the world on his open 60, I didn't read that book before I left on the boat. I had the same issue where you pull in the main sheet and get it tight, and the mast track gets ripped off the mast. The first batten was about just up there somewhere by the radar. We used to sit on the radar, do the repair. It would pull on the mainsail track so hard, the batten, that it would rip the mainsail track off the back of the mast. I had to do that repair 7 times going around the world. Cut the piece of track out, I had extra track on the boat, then fashion a bit that was the same size, and then tap and re-helicoil the mast and keep moving them around so there was, and then epoxying things and then re-drilling it, and Jesus. And in the end I realised it's just the sail is cut wrong. When the sail is pulled down at the back corner, it just rips this thing, or we were doing something wrong, or somebody was doing something wrong, but whatever it was, the power of that main sheet was being transmitted to the mast. And yeah, so like I've got some diagrams with this one which show the exact distance that the tack has to be back from the mast and up from the the gooseneck, up from the end of the boom. So that kind of detail is brilliant. I'm loving it. I'm just loving every aspect of putting this boat back together. The people that put it to bed did such a great job, and then because of the help of people like Sylvain at CMN and Thierry at CMN, we've like picked up all the kit and we put it all back together again the way it was meant to be. I've been enjoying the last couple of days. I've got this awesome set of climbing gear here, which I found in the container, which has got everything I could possibly need and has made going up the mast spectacularly easy, and really feeling like I've got quality equipment. So, and the boat today, I came back to the boat and got the sail up, and suddenly just like the deck seemed cleaner and the mast seemed a little bit perkier, and everything's just like it's kind of coming. So it's deadly quiet now. It's a perfect night to get the what we might even be able to do is get the sails up and put them entirely up and out and take a picture. But it'd be a bit of a crap picture because we could try, couldn't we? All right, so let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's open the sail bag first, and then we'll worry about the rest of it after that.
Well, obviously this is not a job that you normally do on your own at the dock or at sea, but I always work on the basis that you should be able to do every job on the boat, and then if things start to go wrong, there's no job you haven't been involved in and completed previously. A case of training hard and fighting easy. But safety is paramount here, and you can be very careful when you're moving these heavy weights around. That's over 300 pounds of sail.
Okay, first look at the mainsail. It looks pretty good. Oh wow. That was just to stop the headboard from chafing the rest of the sail. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. This looks great, and the great thing here is that because I found the diagram which had all of the mainsail batten lengths on it, just looking here I can see there's a, where is it? And then just happen to have the batten that fits right in it. So what we need to do is basically, because everything on the sail is marked, is we need to get out the diagram, we need to work out what's what here. Everything on the sail is marked up, we've got all the lengths inside, I've marked the battens in the ascending order. I've got a tape measure now, which is quite useful, although it's only a 5-meter tape measure, but we need to get things cut to the correct length, because trying to shove them in and then find the correct length is going to be very difficult when the sail's this stiff and old and I'm on my own, and we need to know it's the right length and then make it fit in so it goes home and into the sail. I think trying to do it the other way and try and knock them in and cut the ends off would be disastrous. All right, what I got to do now is that with the sail, I've unrolled the sail the correct way, and you saw me there trying to get to grips with the sail in its bag and understand which way everything was. Sometimes you roll it one way, sometimes you roll it the other way. We got it right, we unrolled it the correct way, but the foot of the sail is on the bottom of this stack now. The head of the sail is on the top. So we've got two choices. Either we get the battens in and we hoist it up we hoist it up in the air, which you can do that. I may have to do that. Maybe that's what this is all about tonight, being granted this absolutely still night to do this. But it's 100 foot high, this mast, and the boom at the bottom is 12 meters long, so it's a very large sail. So we do not want to be getting caught out in any way, shape or form with it going up and then any wind coming on at all. It'd be terrible to... nothing's going to come, like the there's still air all around us for hundreds of miles, but if it's going to work, it's going to work. If the universe is with us, it's with us, and if it's not, it's not, right? And then I think we hoist the thing right up the rig. Wow, that'd be awesome. Okay. Oh man, we got a problem. Oh, we got a problem. Yikes. Talk about screwing up. Okay. Stretch the sail out. Now I knew that the other sail would definitely be operational. This one I knew would potentially have some issues. I just got back on the boat and I was concentrating on the back of the boat there, and I was concentrating on battens and everything else. Look here, this is where the batten box should be, and there's just holes. There's the batten pocket, there's just holes. What that means is that they took all of the gear off this sail and put it on the other sail. That means I gotta roll this one back up. Okay, yes and no. Likely situation is that they probably transferred all the battens across if they're halfway smart, which I'm sure they were. So we've had a look at this sail, that's cool. It needs some gear. We know, you know what? It could have been ripped, it could have been manky as all get out, it could have been awful. And we should have left it in the dock here instead of carrying 200 kilos of sail to Canada. So, all right, no problem. Let's roll it back up. Let's stick it back at the back of the boat. I'll roll it tighter this time, and then it can go into its bag and like actually be something compressed and relatively small because it was huge. And let's get the other one out and let's have a look, see what that looks like. Jesus. I can't see the wood for the trees. I'm fixing the battens and the flipping sail's not got any gear on it. Better get the bit of carpet back up here because it's got to go back in there. Sorry, sail. You have to stay in there. There you go. It's all rolled back up again. On the one side, like you feel like, oh, an idiot. Like then check all the gear first. On the other side, I can answer questions now about this sail. It's in great condition. It's super heavy. It needs the gear on it. The battens that we have fit. I'm not sure if they're going to fit the other one. Okay, it's good now. Let's get a bag on it and then let's get out the other sail, which is a little bit lighter, as we said. It's only 198 kilos or whatever it is. All right, okay, and now I got to get it from over there over here. Jesus Christ. Now we've got the second mainsail stretched out, so looks very good. No molds, no marks, no delamination. First thing I did was have a look, and yes, all of the batten gear is in place. Some lovely hardware at the back here. Look at this guy. It's one of the reefing clues. The ring on the back of it where the reef pennant goes through. All right, cool. So we got another sail. I see that it's all marked up with numbers. That's great. We have no idea now what the batten lengths are, which is, I guess, back to where you normally be. All right, so it's 3:40 in the morning, and that means it's work time. Battens are going really well. So let's have a look at the job here. So that is the top batten from the set that Vincent gave us. And that is fitting in very, very nicely into the yard batten position on this main. It just required 13 centimeters, 130 mil taking off it, which is no big deal. It's going in nicely. It fits. This 28 mil fiberglass stock goes exactly into the Antal gear, which is on here. So that's number one. So good. Okay, so we've got a few things going on here. Starting to clean up the mast track and the cars. I put a new lashing on to the headboard car up there, the big one. This is what attaches the sail to the headboard card, and then the halyard, we put a new lashing on that already. That'll be what connects the halyard to the headboard car. So obviously the boat's been sat for a long time, so you can see the stuff on there. It's very dry. And anybody knows these cars, inside there, you can't see now, maybe I'll splice in a little image of what those cars look like inside. Basically, the actual body of the car is wider than the track, and then there are two little tracks of recirculating tall-on balls that go around on either side. They've been sat for ages, and you imagine just water and crap from the mast running down the back here. There's all nature of things in there, so it's great. It's a completely dry day, and it's been dry for many days. It's a completely dry night. So I'm just lifting the cars very gently, and then I'm using a little Scotch pad, just lightly dust the sides of the track and remove all that dry matter as quick as the instinct is to just get a can of Mac lube, like dry lubricant, and just spray the whole thing, and it'll immediately turn all that lot to mud and into grinding paste. So not the right way to do it. We'll go first and get all the dry stuff off that we can and move the cars as much as possible whilst they're dry, and then I'll flood it with I've got a bleach and soap solution, which hopefully will make its way down through and start to flush things through. These have been jet washed quite a lot, maybe I could have done more. Once the water's gone through, I'll get acetone and pour acetone down through there, being mindful of what's around me. It's enamel paint on the deck. The acetone doesn't affect the materials that are in this area. Flush it through that, that'll take the water out, and then I'll get muck lube, the one drop stuff. I think I've got it in my pouch here, which is a specific lubricant for tall on balls and things that things that go bump or clatter in the night as they fall from the top of your rig. So once that's on, then I'll get going with the muck lube, and I will probably on my last run up the mast, I'll do a full run of muck lube down the back of the mast track so that it's easy as possible. The sail's very heavy. It's a 3-to-1 halyard, and I'm going to be very interested to see how it feels on the winch, because like on Challenger, I lift that mainsail using a 2-speed small winch, probably only 15 centimeters across. So everyone says, oh, why don't you use the grinder and the big drums? And if you've got 2 people, that works fine. For one person, there's a particular amount of torque that you can apply and the particular speed you can go at, and for me it works best top-loaded 2-speed winch there on that deck. This one is specifically for solo sailing, and it's got the big or bigger winches certainly down there, and it's got the grinder. So I'm imagining that with a 3-to-1 halyard, we're going to see a lot of torque, a lot of line moving. Get this as smooth as it possibly can be. I don't want to screw it all up right now. The proper way of doing this really would be to take the mast track off, would be to take everything apart and then kerosene or diesel wash everything, and then soap and water. I was going to say fruit salad for some reason. I don't know, eat some fruit salad, soap and water, clean everything off, acetone it all, and then get in there with some dry lube. But that would take forever, and we just don't have that, and the issue is not that big. What this boat needs, as we've said before, is to go in some heavier weather and just have everything pummeled and salt on everything, and just get everything, all this crap that's on everything, all these lines, everything got things, just get it all off. So another 20 minutes here to clean this up, and then all the lashings are done, the top batten's in already. I'm going to start going on to the second batten and move my way down. It'll be light in an hour or so, and then I'll be putting the mainsail onto the boom. And then I've just got, once this mainsail's on, I've got all the reef lines ready, I've got all the lashings at the tack and the clew ready. I got another trip up the mast, and I got to go and get 2 cans of diesel, and then we're on. But 12 o'clock is what I said, so when the Barfleur next comes back in, the ferry from England comes back in, I want to be going, so crack on. Right, it's 5:30 in the morning, and the track's done, the reef lines are done, all the lashings are done, battens are ongoing, but I think it's time to just get it up there. If I can get it up and get it onto the boom, would be better than, and deal with the battens later on, is better than it being on the deck with a load of battens and then the wind comes up. So, but I gotta say, I'm so excited, like really, truly, honestly, like putting the sail up on this is something which I've been thinking about for a long time, and I love these boats. I love these Pheno boats from this era. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased because I sailed one around the world already. I didn't know what I was getting into when I got that boat, and I realized I had a real winner. This one is like the big sister of that one. This one's actually quicker. She did more miles. I did maximum 385 miles in a day in Spartan. This boat's done 438, I think, with Mainsails and some adjustments underwater and giving a bit of a push. I'm sure she can do 450 or more. So a 450 mile a day boat is a fast boat by anybody's stretch of the imagination, and I think getting the main up and getting the main on now just means it's really happening. So I'm going to crack on. I'll see if I can sort of film some of the action as I'm going. I think we've still got the GoPro, but it just gets so complicated trying to film everything and do everything. There's so much to do. I think you have to forgive me if there's not like the action shots of the getting along. We can take some pictures of other stuff as we're going, but...
Okay, so don't worry, this is sped up. That's not as fast as I normally move, but these things take a long time. Obviously, I've got to work the winch, I've got to work the grinder, and I've got to keep checking every single detail of what's going on as this gets hoisted up. I do not want to get into a position where the power of the grinder works against me and I damage something.
All right, well, I gotta be very quick with this one because this is definitely not what you're meant to do. Now that is a boat. She's just sitting on the dock with it all up. Remember, for all that sail area, she still only weighs the same amount as a normal family cruising 40-footer. So the main's okay. I made a bit of a mistake with sliders. I put on a couple that didn't need to be on, but basically it's there. I'm not even gonna take too much time to talk about this because you shouldn't be out your boat with it at the dock. That's just vanity and pride, and that comes before a capsize, right? So that took basically from 9 o'clock last night to get all that done. Getting the battens in was hard. Obviously we didn't have the right size ones. Didn't know the layout of the main. Put the wrong main out on the deck to begin with. A lot of setbacks, but man, what a payoff. Look at that. I just want to see the overlap of the back of this boat. God, I hope a gust doesn't come in now. Yeah, look at that. Oh, you can't really see because she's got the sheeties. Yeah, okay. Oh, right. It's good to see it all out like this before we go off the dock, because that's when things get weird, when you can't step back and see what's what. I'm going to take my boots off because I'm walking around on this barge and then on the deck, and as I've been getting more and more tired, I've not bothered to clean my feet properly. Okay, I got to put all this lot away as we have a problem. Speak soon.